And again, today we'll be talking about the power of wisdom. The color is yellow, and the disciple is James. It has been said that an angry man stood before God, his heart aching from the pain and injustice in the world. And he cried out, God, my God, look at all the suffering in the world. Why didn't you send someone to help? And after a long pause, God answered, I did. I sent you. So this morning I ask, have you ever thought of yourself as a messenger of God? A vehicle for healing, or as an angel in disguise? A source, perhaps, of deep, abiding wisdom. God is unfolding and transforming our world every minute of every day through us, as us, and sometimes even in spite of us. For the truth will out. How many times have we sung, it's in every one of us to be wise? Open up both of your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. So, where do you keep your wisdom? Locked up in a secret vault? Buried beneath the earth in a secret heart garden? So secretly buried, perhaps, that you sometimes forget it's even still there, waiting, waiting, waiting for you to call it forth. Uh-oh, someone's thinking too loudly. You say that you still have enough of your own stuff to figure out. You perhaps don't really see yourself as one of the wise ones sent here to help others. Well, know this. We all got cast in this play, and there are no understudies. You have an important role to play in bringing more light, more love, and more wisdom into realization. The Almighty works through each of us. Collectively, let's all take a deep breath right now and release. I have a daughter who is a nurse practitioner, a nephew who works at a funeral home, another who is a fireman, a brother-in-law who was a volunteer police officer for 15 years while also working at the funeral home. We have 4 school teachers and generations of family members in the military. My dad first serving as a medic on D-Day and a scout under Patton. And he helped to liberate one of Hitler's concentration camps. And I've been wondering, why? It's not for cushy salaries, we know that. Why? Why do some of us hear and then answer these calls for help? They certainly are not alone. We see it on our TV every day now. Our caregivers, our first responders, our doctors and nurses and nursing home staff members. Bless them, bless them, bless them. And we give them our humble thanks. Throughout the ages, we find folks who are selfless servants. People who are willing to sacrifice for others. Sacrifice. The dictionary says it is to give up one thing for another, to judge one element or cause or person, to be so worthy that we are willing to let go of something else in our life in order to protect it. It is the ability to judge that something in comparison holds lesser value or meaning. It means to make a judgment call that greatly benefits others while perhaps causing personal risk or loss. And again, I wondered, why? Why? We are surrounded these days by selfless heroes. As we watch on the TV, those medical practitioners who took an oath to be healers for those who are at their lowest ebb, who take serious personal risks in order to save the lives of many, many others. Those noble heroes who rush forward to help because they can, because they are our healers. While most of us see only danger, they are the ones who see only need. They see the critical needs of those suffering and truly feel that they can be agents of positive change, that they can be of valuable service. And in so doing, they can appear to the rest of us as angels in disguise. They become change agents who often inspire greater levels of compassion and courage within each one of us. In the Bible, we read of the wisdom of Solomon. Many are familiar with the Bible story in which two women and one infant brought before King Solomon so that he could rule on their debate. Both women claimed to be the child's mother. Solomon suggested they settle the dispute by dividing the child in half. One woman slowly shrugged her shoulders, while the other exclaimed that she would withdraw her claim on the child before she would see it treated in such a cruel manner. And wise King Solomon smiled and confidently ruled that the true mother was willing to sacrifice her own needs and desires for the well-being of her beloved child. And thus the child was returned to her true birth mother. And let us breathe. Let us breathe, knowing the truth will out. The truth will out. And now, let's allow music to soothe our souls and lift our spirits. A joy song. There are those who choose their actions based only on cold, hard facts, a la Dr. Spock in the movie series and the TV show, and may well make logically correct assessments, albeit at times one lacking in subtle, visceral, human emotions in play. The wise ones among us see the flaws we humans have, and yet are still able to show each of us compassion, warts and all. The wise ones among us know that we each are but works in progress with feet of clay, learning every minute of every day how to become more skillful more tolerant, more forgiving, more loving, and more inspired. We are in Earth School. And most of us have tackled the basic rules of the road, but are nowhere close to knowing all there is to discover about our earthly journey, our existence here on earth with one another. Nor are we often aware of the positive impact we have mystically been called to create here and now. The positive impact we have mystically been called to create here and now. We are all on a magical mystery tour, for sure. And sooner or later, our souls long for greater clarity, for deeper understanding of what is ours to do. And as this hero's journey continues, slowly but surely, we permit deep compassion to take solid root in our souls. Deep compassion taking solid root in our souls. Compassion, the observation of the feelings or sufferings of others. Compassion, when regularly extended, begins to become an intuitive response. We awaken to the simple wisdom we call the golden rule. Treat others as we would desire to be treated. That's pretty simple. And sometimes very challenging to remember, to do, to live up to. But go back to the simple part. Treating others as we would like to be treated, as we would like to be cared for, as we would like to be supported. Learning to recognize and honor the inner life and light of others. It's a practice. It's an art. Learning to take a walk in their shoes, if only for a fleeting moment, makes us more than simply aware. It gives birth to a deeper wisdom within our souls. It gives birth to deeper levels of compassion and understanding. It gives birth to a deeper sense of connection. And before you really know all that's going on, well, you just may have grown to be very wise. Very wise. Without even knowing how. And certainly more aware of the plight of those in need. Solomon shared, I give unto you a wise and discerning mind. And when we get to the stage of life, when we begin to believe in this gift we have each received, well, any one of us might find ourselves taking long, adventurous walks with both courage and noble sacrifice. To quote Emerson, you know, one of my favorite go-to sages, serenity is attained by putting God first. Then, this is the time to take a deep breath, allowing God to lift our consciousness up to serene waters. And though right now the current is strong, we can hold fast to our core principles. We can rise up to meet the challenges before us. We can discover within ourselves all that we need to overcome the challenges placed in our path. A cautionary note. While God places challenges along the path, which truly enhance our personal soul growth, and the more we learn about God, the more healthy and whole we become when we're willing. Now, please understand that it does not mean we are to do the homework for the rest of the class. Perhaps not even giving them homework assignments. This is an enabler alert. We each need to find our own curriculum. We each need to do our own soul work, our own homework, our own heart work. Be watchful of that tricky boundary between teaching, explaining, exposing, encouraging someone to follow a wisdom path, and trying to do the homework for them. Sigh. It doesn't work. This is a key boundary of all compassionate, helpful souls, a lesson we need to learn and understand in our caregiving. Back home, my dad, who grew up on a farm, horse farm, would say, honey, you can lead a horse to water, but you sure can't make him drink. And the same goes with our spiritual journeys. We can cheer one another on, and we can share our own challenges and overcomings and learn from one another. We can point the way to others to a life-giving oasis, which so often the Unity Church is for me, a life-giving oasis in the midst of upheaval. But in the end, this is a private relationship between you and God. No one else can actually tell you what is yours to do in this life, what your assignment is, except God. If you're listening, if we are listening. So let me ask again, have you ever thought of yourself as a messenger of God? A vehicle for healing, an angel in disguise? Do you see yourself as a source of deep wisdom? Perhaps it's time you do so. And let us think on these things and listen to your own heart song. There is no one else like you in the world. There is no one else that can share the gifts that you uniquely can share with our church community, with your family, with your friends, with your neighbor. You have a unique assignment to fulfill. We can support one another. We can cheer one another on. But in the end, it's our choice. It's our choice. Are we listening? Are we listening to our own heart song? In closing, Solomon shared, I give unto you a wise and discerning mind. May we each make good use of this gift of wisdom. The world needs you in all your glory, right here and right now. And it is so. And it is so. Thank you, my friends, for keeping the high watch during these turbulent times. We turn to one another for comfort, support, and solace. Thank you.